Well, we are officially live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Pansy, how are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's Friday, you know. Had a busy week. Very busy week. And
Productive?
definitely productive. You and I've had some productive things happen. There's look, with real estate investing, there's 5 billion and one reasons why a real estate transaction will not go through, right? Like you 1 minute you're ready to close, the next minute they found black mold, or who knows, right?
Yeah,
So
there's always something.
yeah, yeah,
We've
and
been
and
close to things and yeah, so
in our case, we had a company, a master lease company, go out and walk the property, and we were told essentially, well, we kind of knew some things were not 100% done yet, but we were told that the property was pretty much renovated and ready to go. They walked in and, according to their standards, it's not rent ready, but all the things that they called out were all the things that we already knew need to be done. So it's kind of just like we're going back and forth at this point. But anyway, it's been a good week overall. Got some stuff done, but uh, tonight I'm stoked to have this person on, our guest on with us tonight. And I'm just hoping for a good, nice conversation. But every once in a while, we get to sit down with people who kind of make you want to just kind of put down your phone and just lean in a little bit and listen to what's been going on with them and what they're doing. And tonight's definitely one of those nights. So let me do this. Our guest this evening is someone who, I mean, she's been working really hard. She didn't wait for, permission to do this stuff. She just went out and did it. She didn't wait for the perfect moment. She didn't wait for someone to hand her an opportunity. She didn't, wait until it felt just right. She just went out and did it. She literally picked up the tools and went out and did it. And she's been kind of doing it ever since. She's been building and working in real estate ever since.
and while working,
Yeah, while
you know,
working. Yeah,
different, jobs.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
she's
So now I don't want to put my foot in my mouth here. Megan, you're a contractor, right? You are a
Yes,
contractor. Okay. I just want
licensed,
to make
which
sure
in
I call
Iowa,
that.
yeah, that's,
Yeah. All right. I'll bring you up in just a second, but she's a business owner, she's a real estate investor, and she's, one of these people that we're going to hear from. It's just kind of a refreshing uh uh topic and person to hear from in this
she's
space.
also had her own, ups and downs along the way that,
Uh-huh.
she's shared with us and
And that's what I like about you most of all is that you don't hold it. You're not afraid to hold it, being transparent, and you don't really hold anything back, which is great. I mean, you should be able to tell that just straight from her picture on the podcast flyer. But she runs her own contracting construction. She's single family real estate, and at a level most investors, really just only think about, and she's actually doing it.
yeah.
And then we're gonna get into this too. She's adding some rental properties to the equation, which is always, you know, fun, a little scary, exciting, maybe a little bit, right? All of those things wrapped into
It
one.
is, even with us, how close we're getting.
Yeah.
And you said you're funding on one yourself,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep. And it
it's like
gets those butterflies in your
it's been really up and down for us the last
yeah.
like couple months with all of the different stuff.
Hmm.
And, like
Yeah, I
it's
mean those butterflies, those nerves, they get you. It's real. Like it's when it starts to get real, when it starts to get real, you can feel it, right? And especially when you haven't done maybe a deal as big as you're doing, or you haven't done a deal quite like the deal you're doing, technically speaking, I guess, but you start to get those nerves. Maybe some people might start second guessing themselves, but you gotta lean in when it gets real like that. You have to trust that you've done your due diligence the best you can.
what's
And
the most difficult part you think has been because you do have a rental and now you're going to be
hmm
funding.
hmm
Um, I know my own experience, like the most difficult part is the communication amongst different partners involved in things
Yeah,
has
that's
been one
definitely
of
a
the
big
most
one.
difficult things. And getting everybody on the same page and scheduling, the different contractors and things like that that have to be done. It's like that has been the most frustrating thing,
Hmm.
working with several people, trying to schedule all of these different things.
I would agree with that. I think if you ask 10 different people, they'll tell you 10 different things for
Yeah,
that
that's why I'm
section.
asking you. That's
Hmm.
mine. What
Hmm.
do you think yours has been?
When I think about all of the would, coulda, maybe like potential issues that could come up that I haven't
I'm
thought
not talking
about,
about potential issues. I'm saying what have you experienced personally that you
I'm
think made
telling
it more
you,
difficult?
the hardest part for me is getting the first before you even get into the property, thinking about all of the potential things that could go wrong and hoping that you've made contingencies for all of them, like hoping, and if those things do go wrong, hoping you have the right, like I said, the right contingencies in place. That's been one of the biggest struggles with for me is just, kind of constantly repeating those things in my head, and when you should just be like, look, you've done your due diligence, you've done your numbers, you've looked at this upside down and sideways, you've done the best you can. Now it's time to just commit and do it, right? Sometimes that's for me, like me especially, has been the hardest part, is just like, look, commit, right? Commit at this point. You've gotten everything you can do done. Now it's time to jump into the deep end a little bit, right? That, and also, yeah, communication with, partners, um, on the deal, and making sure everybody's getting the things done that need to be getting done, to bring it across the finish line is also a big challenge. Keeping it all organized too, man. Like, boy, this is one of the good things. People talk trash on agents, but I'll tell you what, having an agent coordinating a lot of this stuff for you is where their value comes in for sure. Because trying to keep it all in order and organized and moving smoothly, at least for me, can be very challenging and a little overwhelming at times. But keeping it all organized too, right? And then I would say for me, the last part is just contracts, man. Going through contracts and all of that. But yeah, we're gonna talk to Megan about her experience with this too, which I'm excited to talk to her about too. But um, so honestly, genuinely excited to have Megan on. I'm gonna bring her up right now. What's up, Megan?
Hopefully my internet is working better. I do see full bars now.
Good, good.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for
Yeah.
joining us. Oh, gee, my chair's starting to mess with me. One day I'll get a new chair.
So, how you doing, Megan?
Pretty good.
Good.
I had a really good day. So,
So, I'm glad to hear that, by the way.
Yeah.
So before we really get into everything, why don't you tell everybody, the folks who don't know who you are, in your own words, like, you know, give us a rundown. How did you even get started in all this? Where did it all start for you?
I really started into real estate in 2013.
Hmm.
Technically, though, actually sooner than that, but
Hmm.
I didn't count it when I bought my friend's mom's house with 3,000 down,
Oh,
and I was
wow.
just trying to help her out. And that was in, let's see, I was 21.
Nice.
2000, no, 2008, 2009 area. So really, I
Hmm.
put 3,000 down on a house. So I technically had my name for 3 months on a house. Then that
Man.
doesn't count because we transferred it into her name then. So, but my first house, my own house,
Hmm.
was in 2013. So
What,
no,
now was that your primary, or was this a rental or a investment?
it was primary, but
Primary.
I
Okay.
did turn. It was a 3 bedroom house. Eventually, I turned it into a 5 or 6 bedroom house. That one, 6 bedroom house.
Nice.
But I first started renting the rooms out. What got me into renting rooms out
Hmm.
was this apartment I stayed in, and I rented out the couch
Hmm.
one summer. I rented out the couch, made $300 a month. Then after that, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move to the couch and rent out the 1 bedroom,
There you
and
go.
that way. And
Yeah, there
because
you
I
go.
had just like one space in this apartment, I made ads. I had so many, people asking. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a house and just rent out rooms there, and eventually I went back and forth with renting out the whole house and then moving around myself to different places, and
Oh
then
wow.
came back to that house and built 2 rooms in the basement, a bathroom, and split the living room. It was big enough to split it into another bedroom, and I put
Yeah.
up a Lego wall. Which, if you ever go to everblocksystems.com, you can buy
Ever?
Lego blocks, and yeah, everblocksystems.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Now wait
I
a
know
second. Did
that
you did this work yourself? You just got
yeah, not
the
everything.
materials?
I a lot the Everblock systems, that one you can build Lego block walls, whatever.
Sure,
But
sure.
these other rooms, I actually hired different people, and that would let me watch them build, like
Yeah,
say
yeah,
walls, separate
yeah,
room.
yeah,
So I was like, I how I imagined it, framing and everything. Like, oh, it really is like that. Okay, cool.
yeah.
But like putting up wall partitions, on the walls, like wall board and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like my
That's
dad
actually
helped
really
me.
smart. You're just like, hey, I'm gonna hire you as long as you let me watch you, right?
That
Is
sounds
that
bad, right? But yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
vaguely.
can they say no though? It's your house. Why
yeah,
couldn't you just watch?
No, yeah. Like
yeah,
even the
exactly. I mean,
water
they don't really have a
softener,
choice, right? They don't really have a
even
choice at the end of the day. But still, I
yeah.
mean, that's smart. You to kind of you're hiring these people, but you might as well learn what they're doing while
Mhm.
you've got them doing the work, right? That's smart.
Yeah. Even
Not a lot of
plumbers,
people do that.
electricians, I offer to help. And
Yeah.
it's a small town, in that
Yeah.
area.
Sure.
They will allow that once they get to know you.
They're
Like,
like, as long as you don't
like,
pay me less, I'll let you
yeah.
help me.
So,
Yeah.
like, even the water softener, I carried the bags of water softener. He's like, you don't have to. I'm like, I carried some of the parts, and he's like,
That's
okay,
awesome.
but
That's
it's
amazing.
cool.
Sure,
So
I learned some awesome stuff, watching people and tagging along and stuff when I
yeah,
was
Pansy,
younger.
you've been doing a lot of like, yeah, you've been learning a lot, huh?
Well, I'm saying when I was younger
Oh, when you were
too,
younger?
like
Well,
just
even now
being
though.
nosy. I
Yeah.
like if somebody was fixing something, why shouldn't I know this, right?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure. For
um,
sure.
so I
Yeah.
think that honestly, I think if you're going to own a home at all, for whatever reason, whether you're going to live there or you're going to rent it out, you should know a little bit so that,
Oh,
you
100%.
know,
Yeah.
like you can be
100%.
able to advocate for yourself if something does need to be repaired or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just like a car, I think everybody should understand at least the basics of things that, you need for a car
Hmm.
to be able to drive it,
Hmm. I
So,
agree.
I mean,
I
there were
100%.
classes in like high school that they were, you had to pass. Don't you wish
yeah.
that? Just like minor electric, just replacing a
Yeah.
plug-in,
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I
light bulb.
wish
Like
they
crazy.
had like they had an auto shop at my school, but it wasn't like it wasn't like teaching you obviously it's auto shop, right? But they're not there's no classes or anything teaching you about how to manage, maintain, and keep up a home, right? And keep up with like the mechanics, the appliances. There's nothing like that, right? You just got to learn that on the job essentially, right? I
Hmm.
remember I
Life is
watched
on the job training.
Life is on the job. That's true. I watched the guys do the plumbing at our old house. We hired them. Cost about 10 grand. They came in and replaced the entire plumbing system with PEX. But I watched how they did it. Right. I learned a lot about how that process looks. At least in California, it's different in different states depending on what you have behind the walls and if you have a slab or not. But still, what understanding that and learning it and understanding kind of the cost of that was really helpful in my opinion. So. You said you were 20, you were 21 when you got your first property, is that right?
Yeah, but I don't count that one. I only had it for like 3 months until I signed it over to my friend's mom. But then
But still, yeah.
my own property I got in 2013, October of then.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and then
And so talk to me. Did you tell us anything about that one in particular? Was that the one you put that wasn't the one you put 5 grand down, was it? Or the one
no,
in
actually
2013?
that one, no, the other one was 3 grand. Actually,
Three
that
grand.
one I think I did put about 5 grand on
Okay.
uh, for a home loan technically because the house was only what did I buy it for 80,000 because
Okay.
real estate's cheap in Fort Dodge.
Nice. And you did
So
it conventional? You just conventional or FHA or what did you do? Just
no
conventional? Yeah.
conventional. Yep,
Nice.
yep,
Here's
yep.
something I'm going to repeat that my other partner was talking about, and I believe this to be very much the true is that we get so involved in like creative stuff, like especially folks in sub two and learning from Pace, like we get so caught up in the creative finance world that we like it's amazing how many people actually have no freaking clue how a normal conventional real estate transaction works, right?
Hmm.
You like totally forget about that, and it's like these are one of the things that you should, so anyway, just thought I'd
Oh
say
yeah.
learning a conventional transaction, just doing it. Like the fact that you did that at that age or like that early on, I wish I would have started. Maybe it wasn't 21, maybe it was a few years later, but it still like you jumped into it and just did it. So which is cool. Now
I have
that
a fun
what
fact about that
yeah,
conventional. I learned because I was going to buy another house in Ames,
yeah.
and because I had a conventional loan still on one house, primary
Mm-hmm.
residence, you can actually, if it's 50 miles or further, buy
Mm-hmm.
another primary residence or primary loan type conventional
Mm-hmm.
loan
Mm-hmm.
if it's for work. If you're, moving
Oh,
there for work, or
interesting.
you still keep that other one and
Interesting.
have a second one. In Iowa, I don't know if anywhere else, but that's in Iowa. I don't know, Lance, you want to back me up on that? Have you heard of that?
Say the question again. I'm sorry.
In Iowa, you're in Iowa. You've
I'm in Nebraska.
oh yeah, you're in Nebraska, but you invest in
Yeah.
Iowa. But you probably, yeah, primary residence. If you move for a job within 50 miles or not within, outside of 50 miles or more, if you already have a conventional primary residence loan, you can actually get another one
That's really
in there.
interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
don't know if I can answer yes or no to that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, anyways, that's what that was like
I'm
Well, thanks for
almost
nothing, Lance.
five
positive.
I'm
years
just
ago.
kidding.
You're welcome.
I think I
About
know
five
what
years
you're
ago.
talking about, Megan. I think I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
But usually with a conventional loan, as long as your debt to income can support it, a
Mhm.
conventional loan, you can have as many as you want.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
yeah. But
but
primary,
it's
another
when you
primary.
have like the FHA and all those,
Mhm.
that's when it
Yeah,
gets
that's
more
different. Yeah.
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 technical.
I would
But
say like there's a number of different strategies you use with conventional and then moving it into an investment property that people like don't even think about. You know what I mean? Like FHA can get a little shaky because you actually have to like you literally have to be living there. Like and anybody that co-signs with you has to be either close to the residence or living with you in the residence. And they pay close attention to that. And so you got to be careful with that. But like just a conventional loan, there's nothing stopping you, especially like there's so many programs now. You can get down payment assistance. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with with conventional funding. And this is something I'm still learning right now. This is what's crazy. So we spent the last couple of years learning creative, and it's like these conventional strategies in a lot of cases probably would have gotten us into properties quicker, right? Maybe not for as cheap, but quicker and would have got the ball rolling quicker, right? But then you can also, you can refinance that out into a DSCR loan, into something, right? Into something with less interest, if
Yep.
there's something available for it. But most of it just requires if it's going to be a rental an investment property, it's got to be stabilized, right? That's the whole key to the
Yep.
whole equation is like you got to get it stabilized and then season it for I think it's like 6 months is a sweet spot, and then you can go refinance into something, right? Like a
Which is what
DSCR loan.
yeah, which I want to do a conventional loan and make this this 4 bedroom technically, but I'm gonna turn it into a 5 bedroom and live in it while renting out the rooms here near Mitchellville.
Yeah,
So I do want to do that because I don't have a primary residence technically. Those other properties of mine, they're just business loans.
yeah, yeah. And Kathleen was saying, one of our friends is saying like lending and real estate investing go hand in hand. Obviously, they 100% do, but I would add to that is understanding the lending side and real estate investing go hand in hand as well, right? Understanding that portion of it is super super beneficial. So, I mean, Pace and all of them talk about it. It's like they always get asked, like, what would you have, if you could go back and talk to your older self, what would you wish somebody would have told you? And they always say the same thing, funding, like the funding side, right? I wish I would learn that like early on. Um, so the contracting and construction, let's talk about She's Handy Enterprises. When did that all come into play?
I made that one into an LLC what was that, 2.5 years ago? Or was that three and
Okay.
a half years ago? Two
And
or
and
three, somewhere there. But
okay,
yeah,
and you were doing odd jobs and stuff like that, making money sort of, or working for other people, doing odd jobs before that, before you decided to make your own
well,
business.
yeah, once people found out I was working on my own houses, they're like, could
Nice.
you do this little thing, for me?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing in IT and all that. Like you become your family's IT guy if you work in IT or tech at all. Same idea. Yeah, you think you could come fix my kitchen sink? You think you could come fix my landing, you know? But yeah. So and so talk to us about that. So you started about 2 years ago, and once you know got into the business or you created your own business out of it, how's that been going since then? Tell us a little
It's
bit
trying to
about that.
find the right crews. I've gone through quite a few different people. I don't hire them. I subcontract. I work
Mm-hmm.
with other contractors,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll either be under She's Handy or their business, if they have an LLC or business name,
Mm-hmm.
and learning, how much to properly, like take out of them for taxes for myself. That's a fun game of trying to figure out how much,
Mm-hmm.
especially since I'm working on most of these, like
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. I used to work on most of these projects. Now I think I
You're
told Pansy
contracting
already,
them.
I'm gonna do a new LLC that I'm gonna be like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a real estate agent that goes and finds them the handyman, which is kind of what I've been doing recently, as I find out that actually pays me better for my time.
Oh,
Because working
interesting.
hands on, it is
Yeah.
fun. It is. I like
Yeah.
learning a lot. There's
Yeah.
so many different ways of plumbing and tile cutting and all that. There's so many different methods.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun. I can do I can do my own places myself, but finding out it's actually cheaper and easier to hire other people to do it. But
Oh, 100%. I was gonna say, ain't nobody got time for that.
yeah, yeah. Even though you know how to do it yourself and can, it's just,
Yeah.
are you going to be as dedicated as quickly getting it done, or dilly dally, or be ADHD? These workers, you hire them and they give you an estimate, they're going to get it done right away because
Yeah.
they want to go to that next project. Me, I'm like, could do this, and then my ADHD brain goes over. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I spent a whole day here. What did I do? you know.
So what would you say one of the biggest lessons you've learned in kind of in contracting and being your own, contractor and subcontracting out to teams? How about a better question? Just in finding and searching for other teams, what's been some of the biggest lessons you've learned in that process?
I've had a lot of friends reach out to me wanting to work for me,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they don't know how to do estimates, so you pay them by the hour. And if you're not there on the job, they kind of, here's how many hours I did. I'm like, and then I go there.
No,
I'm like,
you
what
didn't.
did you?
Yeah.
But then you pay them and pretty much low key fire them. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
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 I've had to do that on a
Yeah.
few, or I've had contractors who have worked with me for a few jobs and then they take the next job or the current job from me. Like we've done
Ooh.
like a siding job last summer. Was on
Yeah.
a payment plan, weekly payment plan as we were doing the job.
Uh-huh.
And come about almost July 4th weekend, I go and take, hey, come here to collect the next check. And she's like, oh, Carlos already came by. He said it was okay with you, so she wrote him a check, and I was like, really?
Oh
And then
my
he took a couple of my
God.
Uh-oh.
tools. He
Oh
went to
my
Mexico for a
God.
week and came back. I took his DeWalt tools out of the garage. I'm like, all
I
right,
remember this.
we're
Yeah.
cool.
You were
Yeah.
telling me about all this.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, Carlos. And I was using his tools to cut down trees in the backyard. I'm like, I have stuff to still do. I don't care. You're on vacation in Mexico.
Yeah.
I still have stuff to do.
That's
And so I
hilarious.
took his DeWalt's, and I didn't have a DeWalt battery charger, so I used them until they all died. And I was like, I could resell these and buy new Bosch tools.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So should you so when you hire a contractor, should you just pay them all the money that they need up front? Just let them have all the money up front?
no, 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 no,
No.
no, no.
Yeah. So I
Penny's
would
like,
I
oh
would just
God,
add that.
no.
So obviously pay attention to what these folks are doing, right? Like, you got
Yeah.
you got to at least you be there. Well, and this is one of my biggest things with contractors is like, because I ran into this, especially when we were contracting out for our plumbing job and other things we've done. Like you get a quote from a contractor and you find out that they're actually not the one managing it. They've actually subcontracted out somebody completely different to manage it. And that might be okay, but I want to know that that's what's happening. Like that needs to be communicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could ask them that. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I'll give you a prime example here of what could go wrong with that. Like that has gone wrong with one of my friends. She's a trainer at the downtown rec in Fort Dodge.
Mhm.
So she teaches classes, but she lives at Twin Lakes. Nice area. Lakes, obviously they have nice fancy houses. But
Mhm.
anyway, she was getting her house built by this well-known GC. He'd been in the area for 10 years.
Mhm.
And guess what? He decides to hightail it after the house project gets done, whatever. He gets paid and he left. Guess
Oh
what the
wow.
subcontractors do? They put a lien on the house. She had to pay them. It's like weird, it
Wow.
doesn't matter how much research you do. It's just like something like
You never
that can
know.
happen.
Yeah, you never
Yep.
know.
Yep. And then here's
Yeah.
another story. This one guy I hired has his logo all over his truck and everything, business on Google, everything.
Mhm.
He is I'm not gonna say it just in case this gets out there. But anyway, this guy is supposedly legit. He's gone to real estate agencies. They've used him
Mhm.
to do windows.
Mhm.
I'll say that much. Okay, to do windows,
Mhm.
because nobody goes around town to do windows, but one other company, and they're so busy that he's
He's
got
picking
yeah,
up the straggling. He's picking up the stragglers. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
right.
Mhm.
So then the red flag there was a red flag that was a good tip off. I asked my friend who's at the time she was a deputy. It's like, hey, can you look this guy up, like, because he's got this LLC and everything, but
Mhm.
here's his name. I sold him a vehicle. His daughter came over to put in her name and everything. I was like, why? So that was the red flag, right? And then so come to find out he was wanted in California.
Oh.
So armed burglary, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Mm.
do you want him to finish the job? I mean, like, she's, on my side. She's like, do we wait to turn him in? I'm like, no, let's turn him in.
Just
And then California did not come up and expedite him. No, he's just spent 10 days. All I did was piss him off.
yeah.
But then later I run into him and he thanked me for doing that because he's now going free and clear. Like, he can use his name on things. But that's the thing. The LLC was under his daughter's name. She's running
Oh.
businesses. The
Yeah.
LLC is under her name. The insurance, everything's under her name. She's the licensed insured person. But no, it's everything's under his name. It looks like,
You're like, it was
right?
my pleasure to turn you in. I'm glad I could help. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
So
man. Well, so now that's an interesting story. So let's go back real quick before we press on here. You have a contractor, that subcontracts out. You're paying the contractor, or at least you think you are. You're paying the contractor. He skips town, and now the subcontractors put a lien on the property, and now you owe them. You've already paid out what you thought was the amount to pay for the job, but now you end up paying double because
yep.
Knucklehead
That's
took
what you do.
off, right, and just
Yep.
skipped town with the money. What can someone do to protect themselves against something like that? Because that's a
That's where
that's a
you
real thing. That's a for real thing for sure.
Well, that's where you ask the contractor for the name of every worker that's going to be working on the house. Because I've heard
Hmm.
other contractors do that. They provide a
Hmm.
list of every name, and then you can do a background check on everyone if you wanted to, make sure
Hmm.
they're not wanted.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one. No, that's
and
good
then
advice.
and then make a contract with all of them, like this very specific one, like, hey, this is, in case this happens, this can't happen. So you make a contract for them, and if they don't agree to that, then you just don't hire them. They have to agree to it,
Yeah, that's good
or be
advice.
reasonable. Like, if you negotiate, maybe talk to a lawyer with it, depending on how big the project is. But
Yeah,
yeah.
interesting. Now that's good advice. That's definitely good advice. So, you know, at least in my experience, every business owner has had that sort of come to Jesus moment where it was time to decide, like, should I keep doing this, or should I drop it and go to something else? Right. Right. Was there ever a point that happened with you with she's handy? Have you hit that point at any time during this process?
Every year.
Every year you're like, oh, should I
Almost
quit?
like every
Yeah.
month.
Every month. Yeah.
I was gonna say
I
how
was gonna
many
say
times
sometimes.
a year because it's been a lot for me lately. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah. Should I
out.
just
Peace.
stop? Should I just like quit everything, put everything down? like
Yep.
burn it all to the ground
Go
and
to
just start something
Hawaii and
else.
become homeless out there because they look like
Yeah.
they're living it up just fine, the homeless life, and they're just fishing over there and selling jewelry on the sidewalk.
Yeah, Liz,
Lance
Brett.
has a question.
Yeah, Lance, did you have a question, brother?
Yeah, I got one for Megan and stuff. Following you last year, it kind of sounded like you really hit a low spot in that where you weren't quite sure if you're going to continue on and stuff in the rentals and the real estate stuff. What turned around for you that really made it come together? And I know you got your sheep business and stuff going again, and really got into that.
I think the people I talk to sometimes helps. Like, it's funny how when you talk to people, like say my parents and family are the worst people to talk to, but by hearing them say agree, like, yeah, you should quit, like, whatever, like, and then that just kind of
It kind of
pushes
pisses
you
you
to do the
off.
opposite.
You're
You're like,
like,
thanks,
no.
mom. Yeah,
I'm
appreciate
gonna show
that.
you, you know, and especially the one email. I love how my mom brings my brother, I shouldn't say his name, parent, one of my brothers, family. She brings family into it and just tells him what color I want to do the siding of my 3-bedroom house. Really pissed me off. I blocked him on Facebook because of it. He doesn't know. Well, I don't even know. But she emails him about it. And he said that is the stupidest decision ever. Like, she's acting like real estate's a game. No, she should do white siding, like, because that's a good resale value and whatever. I'm like, I'm going to do green. I'm going to do forest green now, even more. So I am more confident and I'm going to do it just to spite him.
Just
I'm
to
just like
spite you.
upset.
Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah, but
say.
I'm just like, it's just when other, people just like think they have their opinion over, mine. I'm like, no, I
Yeah.
think there's gonna be people looking for that, like if it does sell in the future. I'm just still doing room rentals in the house, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm always doing projects to it, but I want to do. I mean, it's either black or green, but it's more like probably forest green, So yeah, it's just.
Yeah. Yeah. It's no, that's I love it. I love it. Well, and so did you from that experience, was it just kind of like you decided like, look, I'm just gonna put my head down and keep going and just make
Well,
this work or what like
yeah, listening to motivational videos too really helps. I don't know if anybody's heard of Abraham Hicks, but
Yep.
yeah.
I still
Oh,
listen to
actually I
them.
like Abraham Hicks. I have
I've
heard
been
of him.
Yeah.
listening
Yeah.
to that for several years
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
I've
Abraham Hicks.
been yeah,
Yeah.
almost every day I listen to my drives because I drive a lot,
Yeah.
but I do listen to those and they really it's just like I know there's some repeats, but they just click something in your mind to think, okay, yeah, I am more. It just makes you think more positive,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're driving around and you just notice things. I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I can drive a stick shift because I don't know what happened today. I'm like, and it's like, it's a good thing it's a stick shift for some dumb reason. I don't know what happened. I can't remember. I was driving around town. Like, if it was automatic, something, I don't know. But sometimes stick shift works better in certain situations. I don't know. I'm just like, oh, yeah, there was somebody with no right hand. That's what it was. That's what it
Mm.
was.
You're like,
I
see,
was
I'm
driving,
so
like,
grateful. Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
drive stick shift, but just little stupid things, not stupid things, but things like
I
that
was gonna
make
say
you
that's not stupid.
appreciate
Yeah.
not, yeah, it makes you appreciate I can drive stick shift because I have a right hand. This person does not.
It's called
Yeah.
vitamin G, gratitude. I was gonna say like just even thinking of simple things that you're grateful for, but also like, man, it really does help just to get someone else's perspective real quick. It's amazing how much that'll like snap you out of it. You know what I mean? Because guess what? We're not special. You think you're like, oh man, I'm going through this or that, and that's not to say it's not difficult and that you're not having a hard time, but like you're not the only one going through it, right? It's probably not as terrible as you're telling yourself it is. Even though it might suck, there's always, there's always a way out of it. There's always a path
Usually a
forward, right?
solution,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it's more
Oh,
difficult sometimes when you're the one in it to
No,
see the
yeah,
solution.
for sure.
That's why it's
Yeah.
nice to have friends, right? To like that understand. And you can be like, look, here's where I'm at. Could you possibly give me some direction here? Because
Yeah.
you're on the outside, right?
well, and then also trying to like a mantra, like miracles are all around me. They do happen every day. Like I believe the universe will, has like something everything works out, like as Abraham Hicks says.
Yeah.
And ironically, like just recently, I don't know if anybody watched my video the other day of this mower because I was trying to mow this giant acre, that house I'm looking at getting here, manifesting it. I am mowing her giant ass yard. I texted her. I've never met her in person until like she showed up while I was mowing. She's like, "Oh, if I would have known you were gonna push mower this, like I would have hired somebody." Like, no, no, no. I'm glad to do this. I am pretending I'm living here mowing. I am
Yeah,
manifesting this place. I even
yeah.
told her that.
I love
But
that. That's freaking awesome.
there's this zero turn mower, grasshopper mower in her garage that doesn't run. I don't know if it came with the place or if she bought whatever. It's just sitting there, flat spiral. And it was just so I made a post in this little town, the group, and there's a lot of mechanics here. Apparently they reached out, but there was this one who reached out and texted me, and I was like, you know what? I didn't even. I should respond to the other ones like, hey, I found a guy, because I just realized now I'm like I only responded to the one. But anyway, that person, he said I could also fix the problem with your Eclipse and your Dodge Caliber. I could do all that. He's a mechanic for his other company. I'm like, oh well, shoot, this is a 3-for-1 guy. All right, cool. So he's like, do you have a trailer? I'm like, I could go rent one from a U-Haul. I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, well, I can borrow one from work. So we went there today. And we're both pushing. I'm so glad I have muscles. So that's another thing to be glad too.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
like pushing this mower, both pushing it, and it keeps turning to the right. We have to readjust it and turn it. We had to back up the trailer just right to the garage and get it all rolled up. And he used straps to like push it on, like to pull it. And I'm like, that's smart. So anyway, we worked together to get that. He said he's gonna work on it. And then he looked up the value and he texted me tonight. He's like, that thing's worth like used like with the miles it has on it, 5,500 and 9,900 like that. I'm like, how about if you fix it, we could split it, and then I'll just
There
go
you
get a
go.
regular lawnmower, maybe a propelled push one, or
What?
just like use that, use the other.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a
I
come up.
love making like deals like that, barter trade and
Oh, yeah,
stuff
man.
like that. I've done many things like that throughout my life. I'm like, I love it. I like being creative. That's probably why I was attracted to this group.
Yeah.
Throw the word creative there. I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well,
well,
I
that's
you
like
know
a
what?
miracle.
Well, so hey, Lance, by the way, thank you for the question, man.
Do you
And
feel like you got like a decent answer? Do you want
yeah.
to add anything?
Well, just back on advice and stuff. I mean, when you got people squawking in your ear telling you negative things, just remember, take advice from the people that are doing the thing you want to do, right?
Yeah,
There you go.
Ignore everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, my mom decided to email my brother Alan because he's in real estate too. He's got property in California, Chicago, Georgia. Like he's older, he's got more experience, and that's why she emailed him about the siding. I'm like, I'm doing my thing my way, and that just pushed me to dig harder. I'm like,
good.
okay, I'm in it to piss him off. I'm not really just purely for that, but it was the thing that kind of turned it. Now I gotta show him. Now I gotta do this.
That's awesome.
That can be a really good motivator too.
I was gonna say, do you think that kind of motivates you because it's like you have a little bit of competition thing going on with your brother?
That's a huge motivator, man. That can, if you let it be, that could be, yeah, for sure. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Yeah.
He can't see anything on my Facebook because unless he creates another account and sees whatever public posts I make, because most of them are private. But
yeah,
I mean.
So you're just like, we're silently competing. I'm not even shoving it in your face.
Against him. I don't care. I'm just like, I'm doing my own thing. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care if he has a million properties. I don't care. I'm using my own methods. I'm not gonna listen to him.
I like that though. I'm the same way. I'm like, okay, that worked for you. Cool. I want to try this.
Yeah. I have a passion in this, and if I just take on what you're doing, if there's no passion, it's not gonna work as well.
No,
you're like, okay, I did it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Pansy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying kind of like when you have no passion, it's kind of like, yeah, I kind of did it, whatever. Yeah, I get it.
Well, I would say, Lance, that's a good point. And by the way, like Pace talks about this too. It's just like, be very careful about who you take advice from, right? A lot of times, like we've all fallen victim of this, like taking advice from people that don't know what they're talking about. right? Or they're just, it's a front or something, right? Like they haven't actually gone through any of it, right? That the stuff they're teaching you on, they're just regurgitating something that they heard from somebody else. So be real careful who you take advice from, right?
It's funny that it kind of reminded me what happened today. I was just driving. It's kind of a little off subject, but also pertaining to this very specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I was driving through Des Moines. Okay, there's a little outing of people who are not rioting. They have signs, and it's like tax the rich until they're poor, and they misspelled there. And I wanted to say it's not a very yeah, you know how to spell there properly. They don't.
They used the wrong way. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
probably why
well,
they're
like, tax the
poor.
rich until they're poor, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
you guys are that mindset right there. I'm like, I want to
Mm-hmm.
yell out the window, like, listen to Abraham Hicks for one. But that
Go listen to
mindset's gonna keep you
Abraham
where you're
Hicks.
at. That mindset's gonna keep you where you're at,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
also there is the wrong there. Anyways, but yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
anyway, but
Abraham's Hicks has kind of put me in my place more than once.
Oh,
Like
dude.
when I'm feeling something, I'm like, like the past several weeks, I have been like doing less noise
Yeah.
and doing more just like calmer music by neural beats, stuff like that. And then like I'll throw in a little bit of Abraham in there. And it just seems like a lot of times the things that I needed to hear, I'm like, yeah, 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 that's it.
Yeah.
How did you know?
Yeah. Because
So,
you know what? And so him, and I found a new guy called the Mindset Mentor, and he has a lot of good content too. So go look him up on YouTube, the Mindset Mentor. He keeps it real short for him, but a lot of really good, advice, right? A lot of really good, little gold nuggets that he gives you. Um, so let me ask you this before we talk about, and I know we're kind of getting close to the end, but I want to talk to you about maybe, or at least you can come up with something here for this one. But the biggest misconception that people have about the contracting business, what would you say from your experience? What is that?
I know there's a big thing between the contractors and the clients. They're like, no, I'm not going to pay them anything until after it's all done, and they have to supply the materials. I'm like,
Mm,
and then I've seen a lot of contractors like, no, they have to pay at least half up front. There's a lot of contractors I run into that want me to find them clients
mm-hmm.
that are, well, I'm like, no, I do this method of they provide the materials, they buy them and we can go pick them up, or they have them there, whatever, because I know a lot of contractors are like, we provide them because we at least know if whatever. But then a
Yeah.
lot of contractors, I mean, everyone that I've worked with upcharge 30% to
Mm-hmm.
go pick it up at Menards or go buy, they charge an extra 30%, which,
Sure. That makes sense.
you're yeah. But
Yeah.
a lot of clients, they get pissed off about that. So I found the happy medium of like, okay, you can buy the materials, have them there, whatever. We, get paid week by week. It depends on how well the project, like say a kitchen remodel, bathroom remodel, pay
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the week for what we've done so far.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
usually they're pretty happy about that.
Yeah. No, that's a good happy medium. I like that actually. And honestly, it's just like anything else. Like I'm not going to pay you for work you haven't done yet. Okay.
Mhm.
Like we're not doing that. Me personally, I would have no problem buying the materials and making sure they're there. It's there on pallets, or they're like, in a safe place, locked up in the garage, whatever, wherever it needs to be. I mean, I've heard horror stories of people, buying all the materials, a week ahead of time, and then somebody comes along and steals all of it, right? So you do gotta be careful with that. But still, that's not a big ask. You know what I mean? Like supply, if you don't want me to spend my time, my gas, everything else to go pick up the materials for you and upcharge you, you buy them and make sure they're there for me. I'll give you a line list of what needs to be, what we need, and then yeah, pay us at the end of the week. We'll take a draw at the end of the week for the work that we've completed. Like, now, do you guys provide like? There's no hourly, you know, stipulation in there or anything, right? It's just like, hey, this is the work you wanted us to do. This was the scope of work. This is
Mhm.
what we've done so far. This is how much we expect for that time and effort, essentially, right?
Yeah, starting out, it used to be hourly when we couldn't, figure out me, whoever I had,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was like my flooring guy or one of my friends, or, we used to be hourly, like, hey, we just charge by the hour, if you like, like we work fast, like, especially my friend, I'm not gonna say her name, but she's a workhorse and she worked harder than me. Like she don't even let you take a bathroom break. I'm like, we were doing a tree house
I
with
had a
no
boss like that.
tree
Yeah.
house thing, no tree, whatever.
Yeah.
And we went 9 hours, and I'm like, God damn! Like I don't usually have to go pee for like 8 hours, but come on, we were out there in the sun. I'm trying to drink water. I'm like, I sweated most of it, but I'm like,
You're like, I still need to use the restroom.
I'm rushed to. I have to hurry through my water drink just to, make
Yeah.
sure she's not, needing my.
I
Hey, can
had
you
a
help?
boss like that. I had a boss like that and a baseball coach like that.
Not me. I'd be like, I don't think you want me to pee my pants.
No, right.
It will happen.
Oh, well, you just get in worse trouble if you pee your pants. So, so tell me a little bit. I mean, let's talk about your legit rental properties. What's going on with that? Where are you at with that?
It's been a little stagnant for the last couple of years, but there was so after that first property in 2013, I bought another one in 2009 or 2018.
Uh-huh.
That one was already technically I said it was a 2 bed
Hmm.
and 2.5 bath, which the basement added a shower, so it was 3 bath. But anyway,
Hmm.
I converted the living room and dining room into bedrooms, and I lived in the basement, so I turned that to like a 5 bedroom. And so at that time, I was renting all 6 rooms. Like it became popular all of a sudden. Like I was getting it. The 6 bedroom house actually turned into like an after CFR house. So
Yeah.
like, October, whatever, like they went there for treatment, and then this one guy shows up. He's like, I actually know more people that would love to rent rooms. And so then I was like, all right. And then I had traveling workers for the plants that they have in Fort Dodge. And the other house became mostly the windmill industry because there was popping up windmills everywhere. So I had windmill technicians mostly as my roommates and some college kids
Nice.
as a mechanic. And man, when you provide bedding, I'm like, why is there, it looks like black marker. Is that grease? What is that? But anyway, so some people are a little messy, but otherwise I had 10 rooms successfully going. And then like, it doesn't matter. Like some cities, it'll be fine until some
Until it's
idiot,
not.
Yeah, until it's
until
not.
some idiot parks in the neighbor's yard without you knowing it, until you see signs in your yard, both properties, both room rental properties. And I'm like, old timey signs, like there's a board meeting on this property. Then they slander. I made the paper. I have the article in my other phone. But anyways, I made the paper, the messenger about it, and they were like, this boarding house. They like made me look like a criminal in the article, like as if I was doing like everybody's like, and I'm like, why
Yeah.
is this such a bad thing? But yeah, they're like, you have to be zoned commercial for this. Does she have slant? Like other landlords that were pissed off the city came and took their anger out on me. I'm like, we should unite and like fight. I don't even know these guys. But anyways, the one lady that
Wow.
went there, there is a boarding house in Fort Dodge. I learned 29
Okay.
bedroom behind Cole. She owns like the blocks around it, so nobody
Yeah.
complains because she owns them all.
She owns them all, yeah, sure. Which is a
Yeah.
nice place to be in. But yeah, this I've talked about this before. Like you don't want to end up in the news. Look, my my mom had a store. She had a retail store, but she was renting space in this commercial plaza, right? And the guy that owned the plaza was still is actually. I think he's like 80 something. He's almost 90, and the guy still operates this place. His kids don't want it, so he can't schlep it off to his kids, so he's got to hang on to it and manage it. I think he's just stubborn enough to keep doing it himself, basically, right? But he's essentially a slumlord. And the guy, he's also, this other point doesn't really help him. He's also kind of an asshole. So, but you know, allows the complex to get ran into the ground. Hasn't fixed the concrete in some places. Things are falling apart, right? People have to constantly complain to get anything done. Whether or not that has to do with his age, I can confirm with you it doesn't. He was like that in his 50s, right? So people who've known the guy for a long time know that it's not because he's older. It's just that's how he's always run this business. But he finally ended up in the paper. He finally ended up in the paper because somebody, I forget what exactly it was, but something caused a bad enough accident, vehicle accident inside the shopping center because of neglect, that he ended up in the paper. And I forget exactly what the accident was, but he ended up in the paper. And man, let me tell you how quickly that center turned around, right? Once you get in the paper like that, like he had no choice. And I bet you the amount of work that was done, you're talking about probably 10, 20 years worth of neglect that had to get taken care of real quick, right? And so, yeah, but sometimes it's a good thing to get caught, for certain people to get in the paper, but for you, you're just trying to operate a co-living, or you're trying to operate a sober living facility or
Mhm.
whatever, trying to do the right thing. And then because some knucklehead decided to park their vehicle on the lawn, now you're getting strung up for it. So, you know, that's one of the things you got to look out for. So,
Yeah, and the properties had already passed for rental inspection because, well, the
yeah.
one had been a single family home rental, and I even put gravel.
Mhm.
Like I had gravel dropped off at the one place, and then the next property, I actually went and grabbed gravel, and had it dumped in my truck and a trailer, and I just shoveled it all, myself, and picked up the railroad ties from Menards, laid them out.
Nice.
Like I did a lot of backbreaking work. Like I actually tweaked my back one time, and it was fun working for a whole week. Like I was walking like a 90-year-old lady that, you know. Anyway, but yeah, I
Wow.
had that in place, and yet they perk like idiots. That's why. But yeah, I now in the future, I'm like, if I were to do that again, I'm gonna put railroad ties, make it big enough, and have railroad ties in between. Here's park space one, here's park space
Yeah.
two. You
Yeah,
know, so
for
that
sure.
people can't park like idiots. So lesson
Smart.
learned way too late, but it's all right in the
And that's all
future.
you can do. That's all you get. Like those little lessons like that. It's not, you can't predict every freaking possible thing. You know what I mean? It's impossible.
Mhm.
How much has it helped you though, like in with your contracting experience, like understanding sort of like an idea of what things cost, especially when you're analyzing a property or looking at a property to make it a rental property? How much has that helped you? Like, I guess maybe a better question is, do you have just like a line list of costs that you kind of just keep in the back of your head, or do you keep,
Well,
a document somewhere, or how do you go about that?
Well, I look at it like most of the houses I buy, I'm just like, I usually buy them really cheap because I lowball them. That 1% rule,
Uh-huh.
right?
Sure.
Buy it for 100,000, it's got to rent for at least 1,000. And most of my
Hmm.
houses, of the six properties I've bought, six houses,
Hmm.
five of them were under 100,000. Okay.
Hmm.
And they were livable, move-in ready already. I
Hmm.
just had to tweak a few things to make them pass rental inspection.
Hmm.
Like, oh, this room doesn't have two outlets, or even a hallway. It's stupid. $4. Like, this hallway needs two outlets. Okay. Well, they don't tell you how far apart the outlets too. I was gonna put one right next to the other. I'm like, okay, they have to be six
Oh
foot
wow, they
apart. I'm like,
actually needed them to
well,
be like spaced out or something. They
6
needed
foot,
them.
yeah, at least 6 foot. But I learned that from an electrician because I'm like, can I just put one right next to them? Like, oh, this is why you hire an electrician because we know that. I'm like, oh my god.
That's interesting. I wonder
So
if that is that like that. I would want to look
Yeah,
that up. I
there
wonder.
are you yeah, you're not just gonna put your outlets right next to each other and just
there's
like
a whole way.
Well, it depends. Yeah, like probably not too electrical, obviously. You can have like an,
well, yeah, you're just gonna want to space it out. Why do you want
yeah,
all your crap plugged into the same area though? If
yeah,
you have
that's
a
true.
long hallway and you have it in the same spot,
No, it was a square hallway. It was like a 6 by 6 foot hallway. Not like it's gonna make a difference. Most things, vacuums or anything, comes with a 6 foot cord anyway. It's not like I can't reach this 1 inch over here,
that's
because
kind
the
of
plant
weird that
goes
it's
over
such a
here.
small space and you still needed
Yeah.
a second outlet. That doesn't make sense,
Oh
honestly.
yeah.
You know.
It's asinine. Well, my 3 bedroom house, I'm renting out the rooms, but I'm technically like living there, so I haven't had rental inspection if I did rent out the whole house. But I
Yeah,
had an electrician come over and fix some other electrician's fuck ups.
yeah.
Like my outlets went bad, my GFI outlets. Like I actually left for what was that squat up 2 years ago? Remember when we went?
Mhm.
And I came back to a freezer full of rotten meat. I'm like, really? It had to go out. Like that outlet had to go bad during that time. I had that freezer running for 3 months. And then it chooses to, I'm like, $500 worth of meat. I had to throw. I'm like, oh my god. So I had to
Yeah,
plug it back
yeah,
in
yeah.
day after trash day. I'm like, great. Now I have to plug it back in and wait until trash day because I don't want to throw it out now. How gross is
Right,
that?
it's
So I had to chip
Murphy's
away
Law, man.
slowly.
It's Murphy's Law.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Uh,
this other electrician come by and he's like, you might have to put two outlets in this little entrance area that's like a 6 foot by 5 foot area. I'm like, Yeah, if you decide to make this a whole, because I told him about that idea. I'm like, that is stupid. He's like, just wait until they tell you. If you decide that, don't ever start doing the stuff. No, make the rental inspection, because there's some things they'll miss that, like, hey, guess what? I know this, but he didn't see that, and he didn't put it on the list for an outlet to be there, and they have to abide by that list. Just so you guys know, in case you don't, haven't, yeah,
Ooh,
just
that's
wait.
good to
Don't
know.
don't
Yeah.
fix that crack in the window yet. Leave them something.
Yeah.
Leave them everything, and then make them create their list and then fix those things, because they might miss the few things that you don't have to do. Because if you
That
make
now
it
you don't
perfect,
have to do.
yeah,
Yeah. That's actually that's a good bit of advice right there. That's a really good bit of advice. Cause yeah, cause you fix it all up. One, you probably fix some things that you wouldn't have to anyways, but two, you're kind of giving them now the option to go looking and you know what I mean? Go looking for things because they have to find things, right? So let me ask you a question. That's actually good, and that probably would answer this next question that I have for you. But if someone's looking at a single family property, I talk about this. Me and my partner talked about this recently, but it's amazing how many people don't even understand the basics of just a conventional property purchase, right? And so, and that like the basics of just back of the napkin underwriting. Like, what do you need for back of the napkin underwriting, right? So we've talked about it, and it's purchase. What is it? Purchase price, uh, ARV, and renovation holding time, right? Renovation holding costs. Like these with those
like
three
the Burr
things.
method.
Yeah, right. Well, but with those three things, right? We've
Yeah,
with those two things, you can within a few minutes, less than a few minutes, you can know pretty quickly if this thing is worth your time or not, right?
that's
But as a contractor, if someone's looking at a rental property, looking to make a property, a rental property, what are the maybe top couple things that you look for that maybe most people overlook without looking with contractor eyes, if that makes sense?
foundation. I mean, like, there's a lot of people that there's different kinds of mold, right?
Hmm.
There's bad mold, and there's the not so bad mold that everybody has. It's like there is that. I've run into. We have
Hmm.
basements in Iowa, and sometimes there's bad mold, and there's just regular mold. It's
Hmm.
weird, like it's black too, but it's like there's been some basements that have had that. That's
Yeah.
like other real estate agents like, no, that's actually like it's I don't know. It's weird, but a lot of people get scared as soon as they see that. And I have a lot of friends who rent properties. They move as soon as they see that. They
Hmm.
move out. Like
Yeah.
it's like that is the biggest problem. It seems like, because we have humidity. People don't renters don't you'll know your renters need to do their research, but of course they don't.
Yeah. Right.
They'll run things that humidify the whole house. They don't dehumidify it properly, and there's going to be that. So they're going to blame it on the landlord. So if you see that, they'll be like, then you're either, if it's bad or not. If you're going to rent it out, they're going to look at it as bad. You're bound to get trying to explain it to a renter is pointless. It's just like that's another thing.
Well,
Foundations
one, they,
crack.
they don't care. They don't care. Like,
Yeah.
why should they care? That's not their problem. You know what I mean? Right? I mean, it would, I guess it technically would be their problem if they're renting from you, but it's like, it's at the same time, it's not their problem, you know?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's actually great. Well, listen, we just hit our hour, but I really, really appreciate you coming on, Megan. This was actually really fun. We need to have you back on again. Actually, I'd love to do like a contractor just where we really go down like the steps, how to find a good contractor, how to make sure you're protecting yourself when you're, hiring a contractor or subcontractor. Actually, you wouldn't hire a subcontractor, you'd hire a contractor. So, how to protect yourself, how to do all those things and protect yourself essentially, and maybe even save a little bit of time and headache and money along the way. That would be pretty fun too. Um, so
Yeah, that would be good. I'm dealing with all this, learning all of this, right now.
yeah. I
So
mean, a lot of people, and it's amazing. People get fleeced, man. If you don't know what you're doing, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's the ignorance tax, but you can really get fleeced if you don't have, you just don't know what you're doing, right? You don't know what you don't know, kind of a thing. But yeah,
Least,
definitely come back. What's that?
least.
Yeah, fleeced. Yep. Yeah. That's another way of saying getting
Screwed.
ripped
Taken.
off, screwed.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like, I could tell. I'm just like, oh, that's a new
Do you
term.
know
Is
where
that
that do you
today?
know where that term comes from? Fleeced? You've never heard that before, huh?
I figured it out, I
Yeah.
was like, but still, I don't think I've ever had
Where
anyone
does
use
it
it that
come
way.
from?
Has anyone else heard that term before? Give me a one in the chat if
I've
you've
heard
heard
of
that term.
it. I just don't know where it originated.
Okay, so
Most of it's in Midwest, I think.
it comes from ancient Greek mythology. Jason and the Golden Fleece. Because
Huh.
he ripped off the Golden Fleece from the king. It's a long story. Just go look it up. But that's where it comes from. So anyway, yeah, you can get fleeced
Yeah.
if you don't know what you're looking for, what you're doing. So, anyways, Megan, thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and sign us off, but I appreciate everyone who's been here with us tonight. Thank you guys all for hanging out and for supporting us, and like and subscribe and do the thing.